Howdy, Possum Patty here, and yepers, I took down the 2023 calendar. Have you done that yet? Well, I did love this calendar all year. I love the colors. I love the illustrations. I love the fact that it has pockets. Pockets, I love that. So I knew when I took it down that I was going to turn it into something, some kind of journal. I wasn't sure. It's been up there all year, and I hadn't come up with an idea of what to use it for until yesterday. So yesterday I was thinking about it because I knew I had to get 2024 up there, that I could use it for some sort of organizer, right? Some sort of organizer. And because, even before they put away the Christmas trees at all the big department stores, what are they taking out? All sorts of tubs and filing cabinets and baskets and buckets, things to get organized, right? Everybody's New Year's resolution. I'm going to be more organized this year, right? So I was thinking, I'm going to organize something into this journal. I'm going to make a journal and then organize something into it. So I had that idea yesterday. So then I'm thinking, well, I'm looking around at the messes everywhere in the room. Yeah. What can I organize in here? And I'm trying to think of something maybe that's not handy or something that, I don't normally reach for and grab that I would like to use up. And today I was looking at these coloring books. Now, I bought a bunch of these books at flea markets and yard sales. I mean, they cost me like 50 cents or $1 or something. And some of them had some pages that were colored already, and I kind of tore those out and threw those away. But look at these beautiful designs. Look at the flowers. Oh. So the reason I bought this, I'm figuring I can make ephemera that I color in. That would make it special, right? If you do your own coloring, it makes it a little more special. And this certainly has plenty of illustrations that I can use for ephemera. But I was also thinking, like backgrounds. But you know what? When you're in the middle of a journal and you want to grab something, going over to the shelf and pulling out 6 books and looking through them sometimes just isn't appealing. All right, so my idea is cut out the little pictures to make ephemera, and maybe some of the background pages, I might have to cut them down a little bit and put them into a little sort of like flow magazine, flow journal over here, and have this a little bit more handy. So if I pick out all the ones I'm sort of interested in, then, maybe it'll get used more. I want to use up things that I have. I know I have things everywhere. I have a lot of junk. I do. I have a lot of supplies. And I could probably journal from now till the cows come home, right? And not have to buy anything but glue. So, yes, I want to use up things that I have. And I want to make them, more readily available to me where I can start grabbing them and using them. So I'm going to experiment with this just to see if it works, right? No pressure, as Janet Nash would say, no pressure. So I'm going to turn this into a journal. I'm going to go through these books and cut out a few things and stick them into the pockets. And why are these tissue boxes here? Well, the back of the page doesn't have pockets. So I was thinking that I can use some of this material, this cardboard material from the tissue boxes to make some more pockets in the journal for the pages that don't have pockets. And I have a bunch of these. Some of them are down there because I already made them flat. And that would use up my old calendar, a bunch of empty tissue boxes, and take out a bunch of pages from the coloring books that I can actually use. So that sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? So come on along. Well, if you're familiar with the Flow magazine, you know that it is a resource for paper crafters, for journalists, for mixed media artists, and anyone who loves paper. And that magazine, you can just go in there and take the paper and the images and make ephemera, use them in your art, use it in your journaling. So the Flow magazine is like a resource. And folks have been taking that term flow, F-L-O-W, and making their own journals, their own flow books, if you want to call it that, and filling them with special papers or materials or ephemera, and then having them nearby and where they can grab it and pull things out from that and right away, do their journaling. So that was my idea for this calendar with the pockets. So I want to cut this down, and I'm thinking maybe 8 by 8 because I don't want it too big. I don't want this. I just want a nice little thing with pockets. I can put some images in there and some background papers and have it sitting around and pull things out of it and use up some of these resources. So I'm going to spend a few moments cutting this down to 8 by 8 and show you with the design that I have come up with. I took each page of the calendar and I cut it down so it is 8 by 8 plus the cover. So that'll give me 13 sheets. Now, if your calendar doesn't have pockets, don't worry about it. You can take any piece of scrap paper, or if you're cutting your calendar down like I am, you can take the little pieces that you cut off and make them pockets. That is not a problem. Plus, I might make some extra pockets out of, those Kleenex boxes and put them on this side. So after I did that, what I'm working on now is to re-glue the pockets down because now they're loose. So it's going to get attached at this side. So on this side, I have to re-glue this down. So I'm just using some beacon glue to attach this part of the pocket. Now the other side, what I'm doing is cutting it, just cutting a very thin piece like this, because this side's attached. And I am taking my little tiny ruler and I am marking, about 1/4 of an inch on the pocket because I want to cut this part off. Because I've decided that I'm going to put this together with rings. And so I'm going to be punching some holes here for the rings, and I don't want all this in the way. So that means now I have to glue down this side. Now, after I get each page looking like this, then I'm going to decide which rings I want to put on, but I still have a pile of pages to go. So this will be the main part of the journal. This is the bulk of what needs to be done here, with every page cut down and the pockets re-glued in and a little space left there to punch some holes for rings. And I've got that all done. That did take a little while. I'll probably decorate the cover. And I saved some of the little pictures from the top of the page where I trimmed it off. And I can add those on just for fun. Just for fun. And then I've got all the bits that were shaved off the side. And I could actually put these on the back for pockets too. That might be an idea. Where's those tissue boxes? Here they are. But I might use some of this too. That could come after. I want to just get it together for now because once I get it together, it's already usable. and I could always come back and add more pockets afterwards. So let's see. I have big rings and little rings and even smaller rings. Now this might be a good size. I really want to use these, but they're so tiny. But you know what, they might work. Should we try these? Should we try these? So that means I have to go through here and punch holes. Okay, I'm going to measure this out. I took the rings and I measured how far apart to put the holes, and I went in about 1/8 of an inch because this is like 1/4 of an inch. Yeah. Sort of put the holes right there in the middle. Probably going to take a couple of days for me to get this together because I want to put more pockets in there and I want to decorate the cover. And then, you know, I'll probably spend some relaxing time cutting out some shapes and images and papers I want to save for backgrounds out of the coloring books. So the weather warmed up quite a bit today, and the sun was shining for a little while, and it felt so good. And I decided to go outside and look for animal tracks in the snow. Because, you know, it's supposed to rain tomorrow night, and if it does, that'll wash all the tracks away. Shh, I'm tracking rabbits. So I did see the rabbit tracks, the little bunny tracks, and lots of little birdie tracks. The little songbirds love this little tiny tree. It's only about 4 feet tall. But they go and they get a seed from the feeder and they come over here and they sit on the little branch and they take the shells off of the sunflowers, and the shells are all around the tree. And then in the backyard, there were some deer tracks. Lots of little birdie tracks. I think most of these tracks belong to the dark-eyed juncos. They're always in the snow. And over here are some deer tracks. There's one and one right there. And then Mr. Possum and I took a walk to get the mail. Our mailbox is a 1/4 mile up the road. And then we went down to the other end of the road, and down at the other end of the road, there were some big tracks. And Mr. Possum said, "Looks like a large dog." But you know what? They weren't coming from anybody's yard. It's all woods down there. I said, "Oh, those must be the coyotes." Mr. Possum heard the coyotes the other night, he said. I was sleeping, but he said a whole pack ran through the yard. He could hear them howling at each other. And, you know, it's interesting about the coyotes in this part of the country because they say genetically that they're related to the coyotes like out west. And apparently the scientists have been studying this, and they went north to Canada, traveled across Canada from western to eastern Canada. Along the way, I guess apparently the male wolves killed some of the male coyotes and mated with some of the female coyotes. So that the coyotes in New England have Canada wolf DNA. Yeah, so what the scientists found was that, you know, basically in the summertime, The coyotes act like coyotes, you know, a little bit more solitary. They usually hunt by themselves, but in the wintertime, they pack up. They form packs like wolves do and hunt together, you know, in a coordinated hunt like a wolf. So we found these tracks, and one was really large and one was smaller, quite a bit smaller. And then I found these even smaller tracks. So I thought at first maybe the small tracks were a smaller coyote, but maybe they were chasing something. They didn't look like possum tracks. I don't know what they were. Or the coyotes could have come through, and then the bobcat could have come through. We should set up the trail cam down there, but it's not working that well. We might have to get another one. So that was my exciting day of tracking in the snow. Isn't this adorable? I love this. Now let's see what kind of job I did here. So I'm trying to get these in. I'm not putting them all in at the same time, but a couple at a time should work, right? Right? Come on. And then once I get this, I'll close that and see if that works, and I'll do the top. All right, I've got my rings on, like that, and it's working pretty good here. I'm still going to be adding some things. Put some pockets on this side. I might use some of these bits that I cut off from the calendar, use a bit of this, and then I'm going to be cutting up coloring books. Like things like this. I'll rip out. These are nice coloring books. There's nothing on the back. And I'll cut these out. You hear some banging at the door? It sounds like my Stinky Winky Woos. And I'll be sticking them in the pockets. And hopefully just spend some time with these coloring books that I bought and haven't used that much. Make myself familiar with what's in them. Get things ready. I got 2 sets of pockets here. This is like a double layer of pockets. And let's see, there was one. Oh, look at this. That is adorable. Yeah, see, these are used, but I love these arrows. Yeah, these are really thick. It's like cardstock. Put this in a pocket. Or I can cut them apart. This one's got a little bit of coloring on it. This one's kind of pretty, even though somebody already colored it. Shouldn't let it go to waste, though. So I'll cut this out, you know, a little bit more carefully after. You know, make it look like a die cut. If you leave a little bit of a white edge, like that. And then you've got a really nice die cut. Kind of relaxing. Sit and watch some television, do some cutting, and some coloring too. Just do that. Yes, I got a very big cat in here with me today. This is Miss Stinky Winky Woos, and she beautiful. So this is what I'm doing with my old calendar. Just a fun little ephemera folder. Using up my old calendar, I'm going to make more pockets with the tissue boxes. I'm going to cut up my coloring books and, just get some things get some things going here so I can use up my stash. Yes, use up my stash. So if you'd like to share what you're going to do with your old calendar, please write it in the comments below, down there in the basement. It would be wonderful if we could all share ideas with each other on what we're doing with our old calendars. So thanks for coming along today and happy junk journaling. Bye bye.